Lone Wreck Team video. Today we're gonna take a look at, again, the Guzzlord. This time around in the Open Great League. Let's see what we can do here. I asked on Twitter for some matches. I got some together here as well. In total, like normal video speed, which should be fine. Basically, other than a few, I only had like really try-hard teams against me as well. Here we start out with a Stunfisk against us, which is actually kind of okay, but I think they have some that don't have the breakpoint that I have usually against Stunfisk, so it takes me longer to get to the knockout here, but it's fine. I can swap out immediately into my Lurantis, which is supposed to get out fighting types. They're staying in their Dragonite here right now, and this was, I think, the spiciest person I've seen so far, as we will be able to shield up the Dragonclaw from them now, and they're going to have a Great League Rayquaza. Oh, also, if you see it, which you most likely do, if you ever want to send me some Great League Rayquaza battles, I would more than appreciate it. I would love to showcase it maybe next season. Definitely something I wanted to also like showcase someday. But here I want to showcase my Guzzlord as well. That's why I let my Warrain go down. I could have just swept him, of course, with Warrain. But Guzzlord is some kind of cool Pokemon here I kind of wanted to showcase to my opponent. Next opponent, we will see an Umbreon in the lead. Umbreon in the lead is not the ideal Pokemon to see here, as we have a Psychic type in the lead as well, which at least has counter, which was nice, so we can get some extra energy here. Warrain still is a very strong Pokemon, as you're going to see in general during those battles. It was definitely still super viable. People are just underestimating it, as we see someone coming into their Nidoqueen here right now, which is a weird swap onto my Icicle Spear. That was not the ideal scenario for my opponent, but I will be able to go for one Psycho Boost here, which will knock out the Nidoqueen. They can go back into the Umbreon. We have our Guzzlord, and as they're staying in here and farm up a ton of energy, it seems like that they might be running the Psychic move, which I think they do, so they had to go for the Foul Play, and I will be able to knock them out in time, as we see the Noctowl coming in. And here's the thing, Crunch or Brutal Swing. I see myself going a ton of times for the Dragonclaw instead of the Brutal Swing. Even the Brutal Swing does a ton more damage. My opponent knows already that they're going to lose this match here. But here maybe Crunch would have been a little bit better, because I usually just go for Dragonclaw anyway in neutral matchups, which I shouldn't do because Brutal Swing is way better and does way more damage, but so be it. Next opponent, we see a Charmer in the lead. Something that I definitely like to see in the lead, because we don't like to see it in the back. We see the side swap there from the Sableye into us, and that is the cool thing about Guzzlord in this league against Sableye. We don't really care. Of course, they have the return, which is going to be neutral now, but we are bulky enough to easily survive this one. No issue whatsoever, and we will be able to farm them all the way down. So there's no way in hell where Sableye can flip this match up at all. So very good for me. I can get rid of my Guzzlord now, which can just die to one Charm, because Charm does a ton of damage against me, and I will be able to go for a bait here with the Thunderbolt. Of course, the Psycho Boost would most likely do a little bit more damage, and we see a Diggersby coming in, means we can go into our Warrain, and Warrain going to have a great time against Diggersby as well, as a ton of people just don't they just underestimate the Warrain, to be fair. I will be able to shield up the Earthquake, because it does the most amount of damage here in terms of charge moves. I will be able to now take this Fire Punch. I will be able to knock them all the way out with this next Icicle Spear, and I will be able to also win this game now. We see the Warrain coming now against this opponent's Ninetales. I will be able to just go ahead and go for one Icicle Spear. Will get the shield. I can go for another one, and I can also swap into my own Deoxys, go for one Psycho Boost and would win this, but they're going to throw anyway, which doesn't even knock me out, and I will knock them out in return with one Powder Snow. Next opponent, Diggersby in the lead. Fine for me. Diggersby in the lead is definitely an okayish lead for me. It's not the most ideal one either, because yep, they can go for Earthquake, yep, as they are still weak to my counter. They are still very bulky, so it doesn't really matter too much. We're gonna get a shield here, which is fine though, and we're going to put them into range for one move of my Warrain. They're going to go for another Earthquake. Fine for me. We see the Pelipper coming in, and at this point of time, you're going to see me shielding once, I think, at a weird spot here. I just wasn't paying attention. I was in DMs with someone else who I battled, I think after still, but after in this video, but before, who was commentating, saying something to me, and so I shielded a move which couldn't be even the Hurricane. It wasn't even close to a Hurricane, so I was like, Okay, was it now a hurricane or not? Or like, oops. But it's fine, because we can still manage to do something here. We will be able to catch the Shadow Ball onto my Guzzlord, which of course is a little bit risky, catching this one. Otherwise, one Avalanche will easily knock me out, and they're gonna go for the Avalanche immediately. But yeah, before I was a little bit distracted by the M's, and Shield, definitely the wrong move. We see a DSB coming in. Fine for us. We can go ahead and go for one more Icicle Spear, which is going to put them into range where I can farm them down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for the safe route. The safe route now is just go Icicle Spear. It doesn't matter what the opponent wants to do here. I'm just going to go Icicle Spear. I don't really care. I can go for another one here. And I have a move start already on my Deoxys. This is not a Shadow Ball yet. They needed like 2 more moves for a Shadow Ball. This doesn't knock me out. I can go into my Deoxys, go for one Psycho Boost. And I can say goodbye to this Frostless. Next opponent, we will see the next opponent having Deoxys against Altaria. Pretty neutral. We're going to swap out after one Psycho Boost, I think, because I kind of want to have some damage on this Pokemon, as both of my Pokemon in the back have super effective moves, but I don't really want to be in the normal 0 scenario with my Guzzlord. My opponent catches the move here on the Bomber Snow, which is literally so fine for me. Means basically they're triple weak to Walrein. There's nothing that they can do about Walrein, to be fair here, as we will be able to go ahead and shield up their move. Going to be the Energy Ball, and this allows us now to just farm them all the way down. We see the opponent coming into, what is the final Pokemon? Oh, Lapras. This is kind of awkward, to be fair. Lapras is a little bit tricky to still deal with. I can go for an Earthquake, and I'm going to get the shield, but they can go for one Skull Bash, of course. I don't want to use my shield here because I have a counter user, which is definitely wider to shield there, I think. But they're going to go ahead and go for one Surf. I can still take one Surf, so I'm going to let this move go through. Surf comes through. I will be able to go for one Thunderbolt. This Thunderbolt will most likely going to get a shield again, as they know what I have as well here, but I will be able to go still for one Psycho Boost here, which is nice. And I can swap out into my Guzzlord, because Guzzlord will be able to take those Surfs pretty well. I can shield up this move here, and a Skull Bash still wouldn't even knock me out, I think, but we will get to a Dragon Claw anyway, and we wouldn't CMP against the Lapras, as we can go for the Zero Bubble, flex here, knocking them out, and winning this game. Next opponent. This opponent, I just always have to laugh about it. They always run, like, every time they battle me, they're on triple counter to the Pokemon that I want to showcase, because it's kind of clear that I'm going to ask for Great League battles when I want to showcase the Guzzlord. But, like, I don't really mind, but it's kind of funny because it was not the first time as far as I know. But no issue with that, to be fair. I'd rather battle against hard walls than anything else. But we see here the Medicham, we see the already Fairy Wind version of the Jumpluff, and of course they're going to be another hard wall for my Guzzlord in the back here. You want to see the Jumpluff coming in. I should have swapped out here already, most likely, but like this, they're just going to get the Energy Ball off, and I should have thrown my charge move there, to be fair. I can go into my Walrein, which should be fine. But, of course, as there is another wall in the back with the Mawile here, there's literally nothing where my Guzzlord can go. But, like, I don't know. Like, I always know when I battle them before that it's kind of hard counter against whatever I want to showcase. It's kind of funny. Could be just, of course, a coincidence as well. But, yeah, there's not a lot that Guzzlord can do here against the fighting type and 2 Fairy Wind users. It's a little bit tricky as a duck. And Dragon type, which is okay. We will see here still the Walrein trying to put in some work, but Walrein basically fighting now against 2 Pokemon, which is also usually not as good against. Maybe as the old version where it was able to get to the Icicle Spear a little bit earlier, it would have been fine, but we will see the Jumpluff coming in. We will be able to knock them out with one more fast move, but sadly, not enough time yet to go for 2 Icicle Spears, and I think I actually would have been able to win this matchup if we didn't have the nerf of Walrein, which I mean was kind of necessary. Next opponent. Lurantis. Lurantis is kind of a problem for this team. Lurantis basically destroys the entire team, and there's no lot that I can do about it. They're going to also overfarm a lot, and they're going to catch on Stunfisk, and at this point this game is over. I don't know, like there's no lot that I can do here anymore. Stunfisk is already an issue for this team. The Lurantis was an issue for this team. It's kind of Lurantis is definitely a very cool Pokemon because it's very neutral in a lot of scenarios. We will be able to go ahead and go for some Icicle Spears against the opponent's Stunfisk here, which is cool, but like Lurantis has access to a fast move that is super effective against my lead. It has access to Leaf Blade, which is super effective against my Walrein, and it has access to Superpower, which is super effective against both Pokemon in my bag. So it's a little bit tricky. I thought they would have went for the superpower instead here, but I actually went for the Leaf Blade, and if I didn't shield this, I think I would have been fine. We see a MEweedle in the back, which is also a funny one, to be fair, as MEweedle going to be able to go for a superpower here as well. We will be able to definitely survive one at least. And we have to overfarm a little bit. Maybe we still have a chance here of still winning this. Going to be interesting. We will see the charge move coming through. Brutal Swing going to knock them out. I can go for one Dragon Claw here against them. This Dragon Claw will be getting the first shield. And I can go for another one. And now I'm going to try to snipe them here with my Deoxys as they are winning CMP, of course. And this will win them the game. Sometimes it lags for the opponent, sometimes it doesn't lag. Usually for me it lags and I will be never able to win those matchups. But here my opponent still throws perfect timing on this superpower onto me, which was, I think, unnecessary. I think they got to the Leaf Blade before anyway, but nice flex there. Very well played though. We will see the opponent here, next one, going to have also a Stunfisk and a Jumpluff. At least those are together. Very smart core, which you see a ton of times in the Go Battle League. We can go into our Walrein. Our Walrein will always be able to win this matchup because you're still going to outspeed a Jumpluff to their charge moves, as the Icicle Spear is still very, very cheaper than their charge moves. We will be able to win this matchup. They're going to go back into the Stunfisk, and I can go straight for the Earthquake if I want to, and I might want to do this as well, as we can just go ahead and go for the Earthquake here. This one will get the shield from the opponent, which is totally fine for me, because at this point of time I can just farm them all the way down with my Deoxys defense here, as we see the Trevenant coming in, and this is the way for Guzzlord to go. Trevenant is completely hard-rolled by this. Let's see how much the Shadow Ball does. Still does a ton of damage though. It still is not as crazy bulky as you might think it would be because it's so huge, but we're still going to be able to go for one Brutal Swing against the Galarian Stunfisk here, which is going to get this thing low, and we're going to be able to win this matchup pretty easily here. They're going to go for one Rock Slide, which actually knocks me out from this range already, which I didn't expect, so we're not as bulky as I thought, but still kind of fine. We can go for one Psycho Boost and this thing going to be gone. So, good game there. Next game, this was actually the first game that I played. We see Deoxys defense against Stunfisk. I think against this Stunfisk I have a breakpoint with my counter, because yeah, I do way more damage here, as you can see. That doesn't, like, there's definitely not a good Stunfisk then. I will be able to do more damage now also in general here. I will be able to shield the Earthquake, as I will be able to win this. If I shield like the Earthquake once, I always win this basically as a Deoxys defense, I think. I will be able to just let this move go through, and I have a ton of energy now, which is very nice for most occasions. I swap out immediately into my Walrein, no matter what's coming in. It's coming in one Trevenant, which of course would be something I would also like my Guzzlord on it, but I rather keep the energy on my Deoxys alive and force them here to throw 2 Seed Bombs anyway, which is totally okay for me. I can just let this move go through as well. I will be able to go into my Guzzlord and farm them all the way down, but before this I'm going to wait a little bit the clock out, because I am switch locked still, and if they have an answer in the back for me, I don't really want to be in there. But they're going to have an Altaria in the back, which allows me to go for one Dragon Claw. And against Altaria, this is actually a very decent matchup, as we will be able to now go for one Dragon Claw and just farm them all the way down. They don't even throw a charge move here anymore, which it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as we will be able to go for our own charge move. This will get the final shield. I can go into my Deoxys and finish them off with one more Psycho Boost here, as we see the final opponent. We will see the Deoxys against Lurantis again. Lurantis, again, very annoying for my team. I don't really like to face it. I will be able to go into my Walrein this time immediately. This was the second time where I faced it, and I decided to now go into Walrein just to do more damage with my fast move. We see a Stunfisk coming in, which is a little bit annoying for me, as one Earthquake doesn't knock them out, and they know about this, so I have to go ahead and go for one Icicle Spear first. But this Earthquake would knock them out, and they will be able to shield this up. And at this point, what I can do is something very nice. I will be able to go into my Deoxys, and I will be able to just go ahead and farm them all the way down, shield up this Earthquake here, because Earthquake does, of course, the most amount of damage. And I will be able to just farm them down, go into my Guzzlord to basically lock in the Sableye, and I will be able to knock them out. I'm actually going to shield up the potential return here as well, as I have still so much health on my Guzzlord, and I will be able to just go ahead and get some shields from the rest of the Pokemon anyway, as they can go ahead and go into their Lurantis if they want to. as they are going into their Lurantis, which I'm fine with. I can go for one brutal swing here again. This brutal swing going to attack that thing pretty hard. I will be able to go for the swap into my Deoxys. I have 2 moves stored. They're going to swap out on the second one, which is fine for me. They're gonna go for one Rock Slide, which is fine for me. But I will be able to win this game here pretty easily now, going for 2 Psycho Boost, and it should be game over as 1 Leaf Blade is not enough to knock us out. This is going to be a good game, and thanks for everybody to send in those battles. Guzzlord is definitely a cool addition to this meta, especially as you're going to be able to destroy those save swaps of Sableye as well as the Lickitung. So thanks for watching, see you next one, leave a like on this video, and I see you on the next time. Bye!